Hey everyone, TLM Ryan here at Pre-Conciliar Radio. Today I am going to talk about the latest catchphrase in Tradosphere, which is the term Trad Inc. I'm going to talk about what it is and whether or not I am part of Trad Inc. Okay, first, what is Trad Inc? It's important to define our terms. Nobody really knows what Trad Inc. is. I'm going to offer a definition. Trad Inc. is a group of trads meaning Catholics who practice the faith in the way it was practiced pre-council, pre-conciliar. What does the Inc. stand for? That's more debatable. From my point of view, it seems like Trad Inc. are traditional Catholics who are keeping their criticisms at bay of the new pontiff, with the hope of obtaining certain benefits, such as the Latin Mass, or the return of the Latin Mass through the repeal of Traditionis Custodes. That's my definition of Trad Inc. Okay, so am I Trad Inc? Well, I learned during the first election of the current president in 2016 how to recognize reliable sources. And that was those who called balls and strikes. So you have a particular opinion. When that candidate does something that is in line with that opinion, you praise him. And if he doesn't, you critique him. I started following people who could be at least objective and fair and wouldn't always praise the president and wouldn't always critique him. Those people I thought had integrity. That's the way I'm going to do things with Pope Leo XIV. Yes, I have his picture up. That's not like a huge endorsement of him. I had Francis up. I just think that's something Catholics do. They usually have a picture of the Pope in their home. So yeah, I will not be refraining from critiques. I do think there is something to be said for methods of how to obtain or curry favor with the Roman Curia in pitching our idea, or pitching our hope that Traditionis Custodes would be repealed, and just blasting through the door with critique after critique is probably not the way to do it. Total silence, though, also has its downsides. I'll make a separate video on maybe how I think we should approach that. That's not the point of this video, though. Point of this video is, because this is only my second video, is probably to give the audience a little bit of a taste as to where I stand, because I think some people might be curious going forward. Where I stand with the current pontiff, I don't really know, because it's very early on. You know, this is not like United States politics where they only get 4-year terms, maybe 8. This could go on for 15, 20 years. So this is really, percentage-wise, we're just in like the first 1% of his pontificate, really. So I don't know. I will say things aren't looking good. I was a lot more encouraged in the first week than I am now. The James Martin debacle and subsequent James Martin types in the Vatican, if you want to compare that to Pope Francis's first 6 months, where he made like the "who am I to judge" comment, it's way worse. It's way worse than a comment. I mean, it was permitted to occur. So there you go. If you want to know if I'm Trad Inc. or not, I just offered a critique right there. What I am seeing in the first 6 months, if this extends the his entire pontificate, is we will probably have a very weak pope. Say what you want about Pope Francis, he was a strong pope, if you will. I mean, not in the right ways, but he didn't give off weakness, except when it came to clarity. But like what he wanted to do, he did those things. Pope Leo, to me, in the first 6 months, appears very diplomatic, which is partially he's in a very unfortunate position because he's trying to please everyone and you can't. And then that just comes off as weakness. So that's my initial thoughts. But I think, to get that out of the way, no, I'm clearly not whatever Trad Inc. is, and I won't keep my mouth shut if it gets bad. But my channel, while I'm still kind of trying to develop a crystallized mission for it or theme for it, it certainly won't be papal commentary. Maybe it will be. I mean, maybe the Pope will do things worthy of commentary that I'll kind of chime in on. But no, that's not what the purpose of this channel will be. There's plenty of channels out there on both sides of it that are way better than mine. Nor do I even presume that my classification of Trad Inc. or not Trad Inc. matters at all. I am very small. Who cares? But this was a pertinent topic, so I thought I'd make a video on it, and it's a good exercise for me to try and make pithy videos that are under 10 minutes. So there's 2 points to this little clip. But at the end of the day, and I had to do this mental exercise when it came to Pope Francis. Pope Francis pushed people to matters of papal opinion that you never would have expected 20, 30 years ago, where I knew like very normal Novus Ordo attending Catholics who told me privately, yeah, I don't think that guy's the Pope. You had like Benevacantists coming out, quasi-Sedevacantists. Nobody knew. It was the most confusing thing. I never really developed a full opinion, and this is why. And I think it's this thought experiment I'm going to run you through is kind of how I think, at least I will be dealing with Pope Leo XIV, which is if I got a message from heaven telling me Pope Francis was not the Pope, or Pope Francis is the Pope, he's just not doing anything infallibly, so you don't have to worry. If divine knowledge came into my brain and I was able to like definitively say one way or the other, the question is, would it matter? Sure, like it might matter, like in terms of the direction of the church and that, but like, would it matter for my soul? And my things I've said to my friends in real life is no, it wouldn't. I would still have to go to mass, follow the commandments, pray the rosary, raise my children in the faith. Quite honestly, I guess maybe the only difference is I wouldn't read the encyclicals that came out. But I really didn't do that anyways, because at the end there, with Fernandez, I was getting heresy within the first paragraph. So I set that down. So yeah, if we have a good Pope, that's great. But at the end of the day, like if you have a Pius X, you've still got to do the same things than if you have like worst case scenario and the seat is empty. That gets a little tricky because then like what's going on? But my point is like bad Pope or good Pope, you have to do the same thing for the care of your soul, and as a man, the soul of your wife and children. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Trad Inc. Yes, that's actually a real picture in the thumbnail. I did have the honor to meet Cardinal Burke when our parish was fully restored. It was hit in the 2020 tornado that ripped through Nashville. It took us 5 years to restore the church, and he came down for the opening ceremony for that. So I did meet him. No, he did not tell me to keep my comments restrained. I didn't even have a channel at that point, but I did very much enjoy meeting him. And so he is featured on my thumbnail. All right, so that's it for today on Saturday. Thank you all.